Hey, it's me, it's Jason. I am so happy because I am playing through my rig, and I haven't played through this rig since COVID. Remember that thing? I've never done a video for Instagram or any other instant thing in my life about this particular subject, which would be my live rig. I figured, since I'm so excited to have this stuff in my studio right now, and in fact, this is the first time I've put a guitar strap on and stood up and played since March or February or whenever they shut us all down. So what I wanted to show you guys basically was the amplifiers I use and have been using for at least 15 years, and the pedal board, basically, which I've been using at least the last 12 years, and tell you a little bit about how it came to be and why I've chosen to use this gear. For a lot of guitar players, this kind of rig would be laughable. They would just look at that and go, what do I do with those little tiny amps? Like, how do you play a gig with those? But, you know, for other guitar players, it's like the perfect rig. This is a 1955 Telecaster. I believe it's the original finish, but I don't know for sure. I definitely know it's the original pickups. Well, I shouldn't say definitely, I've never taken them out, but they sound original. And it's my favorite Tele in the world. I love it. I just love it, love it, love it. I love the tone, and I love the way it plays. And just a little backstory on the rig, guys, is that I searched and searched and searched for the right amp since I was a kid, you know, and I first started playing shows when I was 18. I had a couple cool amps. I had a Mesa Boogie, but I didn't know how to set it up right. I didn't know, like, how to do it. I just didn't know how to do it. And I never really had a good tone. Then I met Mike Campbell. We all know that guy knows a thing or two about tone. So when we started playing gigs together, we wanted to have similar sounding rigs. And we went through a bunch of different things because we didn't want stuff loud on stage. We didn't want to compete with loud amps. We decided one day, why don't we try a Princeton reverb and maybe hook it up with a Tweed. We heard it, we loved it, we flipped out, and that's basically the Dirty Knobs rig. In this case today, what we have, I believe this is a 65 or 66 Princeton reverb from Fender. I don't know, 22 watts, I think. And this is a TV front, because it looks like a little TV panel, Fender Deluxe. What I do is I run the two amps together, running out of my pedal board, and it's a matter of setting each amp individually and then getting them together. And you put them through the house system, they rock, you know? You don't really need much more. So here's the deal. All you're hearing right now is this amplifier. Super clean, direct, beautiful tone. All right, so that's just that side of it, all right? Now let's hear what the Deluxe sounds like on its own. So clearly it's way crunchier. It breaks up really, really early. at a relatively low volume. You know, it's not piercing my ears. I'm not like shaking here, freaking out. So when you put the two amps together, these two sounds, what's gorgeous about it is it just blends. So this is what I love about it. You get the best of both worlds, and they do this magical thing where they just sort of become one. And it's very responsive in terms of dynamics. So if I play soft, it sounds soft and jangly, but if I hit it, you get a little crunch. So. That's the basic idea of these two amps together, always set the same, and they just stay like that. And that's it. Let us move on to the pedal board and how that works with this amp structure, which I call Heavenly Beautiful Amplifier Sandwich. There's a pedal czar. And he sits in a room like this, and he opens one eye when you walk in. And if you look into that eye, your soul goes into the pedal. Don't ever enter that room. So anyway, a lot of these pedals have been on here for over 12 years. Some are new, but most of them have been around a long time. Dave from LA Sound Design did this. Put this together for me. Boss tuner, chromatic tuner, great. Nuts and bolts, badass, good gear. Love. Crybaby, wah, that when you kick it on, as you press down, it engages. When you let go, it turns off, which is very cool. There's only so many wah-wahs you get in your life. I've used up my wah-wahs, so I don't really use it. That's that. This pedal is called a discombobulator. And yes, discombobulator, and it's from Emma. And it is a, what are they called again? It's like a Mutron. It's like a modern day Mutron. And I just want to show you really quick how cool it is. And I like it much better. I have an original Mutron, but I like this better because it tracks so well. Love it, killer, always sounds good, never disappoints, whether you have a high gain behind it, which is this booster, which I'll get to. Always works, solid, killer. Next is this Rotosim. I don't remember getting it. I don't remember why. Half of it doesn't work, half of it does, but it sounds really good. So I don't even want to mess with it. The way I have it set, and a Rotosim is to simulate the spinning speaker, the Leslie speaker of a Hammond organ. And it's just cool. It does its job perfectly. So I wouldn't set it any other way. So here's clean. I talked to the guys at Rotosim. They said, send it to us. We'll fix it. We'll send it back. I'm like, I like it. Just don't worry about it. Great pedal. I don't use it a lot, but when I need it, especially that little part I played is a song of mine, Rain Down on You. I always use it on that section. And it's just a nice little touch once in a while. And then we have this Empress Tremolo, which is a really great tremolo pedal. I don't use it a lot. I have, there's a couple songs with the dirty knobs where I hit a tremolo in certain parts, and I could very easily get what Mike wants me to get out of it. So if he's like, I want a faster tremolo or I want a slow tremolo, super easy on the fly, I can get it. What I love about this pedal too, it has a gain feature. So sometimes when you're playing a tremolo part, you have to kind of hit it soft to get the tremolo to swell properly. And if you add a little gain, it helps you do that job for you, especially when you're playing against another guitarist and against Guitar Horse. I'm playing against you. Like, I just had this image of like riding, you know, those guys that ride with the stick from medieval times and then you knock the other guy off the horse. What if they use guitars? Like, I will kill you with my Telecaster. No, you won't. My Les Paul will fry your head. So, anyway, it's great for that. Now we're getting into sort of what I need. I have a backup board that has these 3 pedals on it because I have to have them. Let's start with this TC Electronic Nova delay. You cannot buy these anymore, which kind of sucks. It's my favorite delay. I have a backup for it. Then when I went to buy a third one, I went on reverb.com and I didn't understand why they were so expensive. They were all in Japan. And there are some on the resale market, but not a lot. And there's many choices of great delays. I just happen to really like this one. It's very, very, very sensitive. And if you see, I just barely use it. So that's basically how low I use it. So in the mix, it's maybe 9% on, and you know the feedback is very low, and I can tap the rhythm that I'm playing. So if the song is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's really easy to get it. Now, if you want a little more delay, it's very simple. You just turn up the mix. So you see it's on 10, so I probably had it on who knows what, but. And if you want it to trail a little more, you just turn this up. And you can see it's very, very, very clean. It doesn't mess up your tone at all. And then there's many, many functions on it, reverse, all kinds of things that you can do. You can have different types of delays, you know, more analog, more tape or whatever. And, you know, I just found what I like. I leave it basically set up that way all the time. And the one thing to know about it, I think all delays, the more I juice up these pedals, the harder it's going to hit this delay. Then let's move on to the newest pedal on this board, and it's on an angle, which is strange, but it's fine. I can reach it. This thing is the MXR Boost Line Driver. I love boost pedals. I love getting the tone out of my amp and boosting it without distorting it. So what it's basically doing is it's giving the amp, it's pushing more energy through those speakers without changing your tone. And check this out. I have it turned up pretty high. And as you can see, all it does is add to the tone you already have. It gives you more of what you have. It hit the reverb a little harder. It hit the tubes a little harder. And you can also back it off. So oftentimes when I hit a solo, I turn on the delay, and then I hit this. turn this down a little bit because it's just too much delay for my taste. This is, I think, in terms of affordability and in terms of just getting something that you can add to your rig, 1 amp, 2 amps, whatever, I've never heard a better one. I've never heard a better sounding boost. It also works really well with acoustic electric guitars. They're acoustic amps. MXR outdid themselves on this. I think it's absolutely stunning. All right, so let's round it out. We've kind of gone through the whole board to the big papa here. And what this is an original, one of the first 19 ever made, the only 19 ever made, from the Way Huge company, which is probably, one of my favorite pedal companies ever. I love their pedals. I own many of them. This is the Camel Toe. Now, I know that's a funny name, and I didn't know the reference for a long time, because I would say to people, I want to show you my camel toe. You can only imagine how that went. I honestly didn't know. So now I do, and it's embarrassing. Then I covered it up for a while, and then I'm like, whatever. Okay. So what this is 2 pedals in one, okay? It's got the green side and the red side. So the green side is the Way Huge Green Rhino, which is kind of based on like a Tube Screamer, that type of overdrive. And then the red side is the Red Llama. The Red Llama is more based on a really high gain distortion box. I don't know which one in particular, but I've never really heard anything like it. I do have a Red Llama. I don't have a Green Rhino, but that's what this is. Now you can run it. You can see how it's taped up, and there's an arrow pointing down, because you can run this pedal as 2 pedals or run them in a chain. Well, I did run them in a chain one time by accident, and Waddy Wachtel looked at me like, if you don't turn that thing off, I'm going to hit you over the head with my Les Paul. It was so loud and so intense. He gave me that eye. I was like, I'm sorry. I turned it off. It was insane. It was so loud. So I taped it down. And Mike Campbell also has one of these pedals. I turned him on to it years and years ago. He has 2 of them. I have 2 of them. And his is taped down in this position as well, because it's just insane. I've never moved on to another distortion pedal all these years. This was 2001, I think I got this. And so I own 2 of them, Mike owns 2, and there's like 15 other ones around. They make new ones that are awesome, by the way. They're killer. So I'm just going to show you really quick how I use it. Let's say we're doing a song dynamically middle of the road, like. And that's just a great tone clean. Then you add the Green Rhino. Great for soloing too, because it's just in that sweet spot. If a song isn't too loud, right? You don't need to really reach over the band, because the band's kind of in that mellow spot. The way I have it set is just to give it a little more crunch. That's all. So this is just a stage more of crunch. This is boost, but this is crunch, and you can use those 2 together beautifully as well. These all work together. Now, when the band's ripping and roaring and you're just like, man, you guys are just playing hard and I have to play a solo and I got to play over you, that's when you go to the red side. You can see it does the thing. It takes you there. I don't even have it turned up a lot. And if you see, I have the drive maybe at 25%. So I let the amps do their thing. I let the guitars do their thing, and then just use these as accents to just bring up a little of this, a little of that, rather than overwhelming and you know, there's nothing worse than guy's playing, he's got a really nice tone, then he kicks on a pedal and it's like a buzzsaw. You're just like, why? Like, I can hear you, but I don't want to hear you. And you're really good. You don't need to do that. It just freaks me out. That was me for most of my life. But I wasn't really good. I was okay. So subtlety seems to work. But yeah, this combination of all this, that's my rig, man. That's basically the rig rundown. And it's just incredible how they all work well together. And it doesn't matter. I can take this guitar off, plug in a Les Paul. I don't have to touch anything. I leave everything as it is, take a Gretsch, whatever kind of guitar you can imagine, plug it in, leave all the settings the same, and it works. That's how I think you know you got your rig sounding right. So I hope you enjoyed the rig rundown. I've never done this, and it's been really fun for me to share this. Some of you have asked about this, and feel free to comment, direct message me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to share with you anything I know. And it took me many years to get a tone that I find acceptable, that I could work with. And once you get there, it's kind of nice to be able to show up and have your thing together, you know. Remember, the pedal czar, he's lurking. He's got one eye open all the time. And if you're not careful and you look at him in that eye, you will end up inside one of his pedals, and you will then become digitized, and someone will play some really bad heavy metal with your soul. So just be careful. Stay cool with it. You're gonna be fine. We're all gonna do this thing anyway. I love this guitar. Okay, let's get a sandwich. I'm done.